All right, let's talk some Pinstripe Bowl. Nebraska learned their bowl destination this week. They're heading to New York City on December 28th, an 11 a.m. game on ABC to kick off the Saturday bowl coverage. And, for Nebraska, there's a lot of nostalgia to this game in Yankee Stadium. When you go back to 1962, it was Bob Devaney's first bowl game at Nebraska, the Gotham Bowl, when they beat Miami. It was also Nebraska's first bowl win in school history, and that bowl game in 62 snapped a bowl drought that is similar to the current bowl drought. Nebraska's previous bowl before 62 was during the 54 season when they played in the 1955 Orange Bowl against Duke. So there is a lot of connections and ties about going back to Yankee Stadium and what this game means. And you get the sense, and Robin and I were on this conference call this week, this is a game that both schools are treating with pretty great importance.
Did you get that sense, Rob?
Mm-hmm. Matt Rule said that he's never been more appreciative of going to a bowl game than he was this one. And I know a lot of people are kind of disenchanted with the destination and the matchup compared to what they had their sights on before it was announced. But you got to understand what this means for Nebraska just in the grand scheme of things. Not only just ending the bowl drought, but just the tangible step forward to be able to go to a bowl game, to have this opportunity, to have this month of practices and preparation to where not only are you trying to finish this season off on a high note, but you're getting valuable prep going into next season where they're treating it just as much as the end of 24 to the start of 25. And so this is just something Nebraska hasn't had in far too long, and that fact is not lost on Matt Rule. I also thought it was cool too, Sean, that you mentioned that Gotham Bowl. He said he talked to Bob Devaney's son about that game and just kind of what that game meant to the program and how it kind of springboarded those decades of dominance. So kind of a cool full circle moment here.
Yeah, I've talked to Mike Devaney about the Gotham Bowl, and that was obviously his father's first season at Nebraska, Bob Devaney. And
let's get that name out there. Go ahead.
What did I do?
No, I just wanted to say
he was clarifying that we're talking about Bob Devaney.
Yeah. Well, Mike is his son living in Phoenix, and still a very great supporter and follower of the program. But that game in 62, they barely got the game played. It was the final. They only played the Gotham Bowl twice because it went broke. The year before in 61, the game lost $100,000.
61, okay.
And that's a lot of money.
That's big time money in 1962.
So in 62, there was a newspaper strike in New York. So the game got very little publicity and coverage because of the newspaper strike, and it was colder than hell. About 6,000 people attended. Nebraska did not take off for New York until the check cleared, and they sat on the runway in Lincoln's Airport waiting to get the phone call that the check had cleared. I believe it was $35,000 check to take off. Now, this year, I don't think there's going to be that problem with the Yankees backing the Gotham Bowl. Not the Gotham Bowl, but the Pinstripe Bowl.
Look at those photos. Look at that.
By the way, third base line, second, third deck, that to me, other than the foul pole there, would be a really good seat.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, like for me personally, like I've never been to Yankee Stadium, so just checking that off the bucket list will be cool. But like seeing the photos of the football field there and just the backdrop there, it's unique. And it's a lot cooler than like, I don't know, going to the Diamondback Stadium or something like that. If you're going to play in a baseball stadium, Yankee Stadium is probably the best one you can find.
Yeah, even like I thought the Gator Bowls were cool, but this does actually more for me than going to like a game in the Jaguars Stadium.
Does it?
Yes. I mean, I just think it just has a different feel. And there's some great storylines with Nebraska. Matt Rule grew up in New York City. Mm-hmm. He's got a lot of family from there. You've got Ramir Johnson playing his final game from Harlem. He grew up in Harlem. Cam Lenhart grew up in New York City. So Nebraska's got a lot of angles. And, Robin, they've got some Boston College ties, too.
Yeah, so Lenhart spoke to the team this week about what that game's going to be all about and what going to New York around the holidays means, and basically just trying to enlighten people that don't know about New York, especially going there this time of year, about what it's all about and what's in store for them. So I think that Matt Rule's really trying to generate some excitement, both internally and externally, about this game, and I think he should. There's a lot of reason why this is an important game for Nebraska, and so as much excitement as they can get as possible. But then with the Boston College connection, they're Nebraska's interim defensive coordinator, John Butler, was the defensive coordinator under Bill O'Brien at Penn State. They worked together in the NFL, and during the conference call, I asked Bill about John Butler and had a lot of good things to say about it. Just kind of talking about his work ethic and how he was a really integral part to the brief success that O'Brien had at Penn State. And so there's a lot of, I think, interesting narratives around this game that go beyond just the X's and O's.
And Bill O'Brien, he's your kind of guy, Sip, and he kind of reminds you of a more cleaned up version of Bo Pelini. I mean, just a tough East Coast guy.
He's pretty funny.
And Nebraska and Boston College have never played in history. And
Boston
College is one of only 2 Catholic schools in FBS that play football. Notre Dame's the other. So there's just not a lot of common connections to Nebraska and Boston College. But I like Bill O'Brien. I'm excited just about the head coaching matchup too, because Bill O'Brien's a dude. I mean, he used that conference call to really express some of his views about college football, and it was interesting. I mean, he was, and the show was on the Yes Network. It wasn't like just some Zoom call.
Whoa, it was on the Yes Network.
It was a full production.
That's like the Yankees Network.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was probably the best bowl press conference pre-thing I've ever done in my career.
I'll be damned.
Like, it was big time.
Okay, that's good. That's good for the bowl to do that. You don't want to present yourself as a small time bowl. If in the Pinstripe Bowl gets a little bit overlooked, so that's good news.
No, it's run. I mean, from what I've seen, it's run like a big time bowl.
I mean, it's a Yankee bowl game. Like, they got Yankee money behind it.
And we've seen bowl games before where they might be higher prestige than this one, but there's a lot of loose ends with the operations of the bowl.
Absolutely.
I mean, one year I won't even name the bowl, but Robert and I, we didn't, like, there was supposed to be a ride home for a shuttle, and there wasn't.
Right.
And the bowl director had to come back and pick us up and
leave their
bowl
post game party, their staff party, to come pick us up in his personal
good
car.
bowl director,
because the shuttle just left.
It's a good bowl director. And the matchup, you guys know a little bit more about this matchup. So 7-5 Boston College. They have a really good edge rusher. We know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sean?
Yeah. I mean, he leads the nation in sacks.
Do you know anything about Boston College? This is a bad question for me to ask on the air, but I haven't really looked into them very much.
Well, Boston College, like when you look at them as a team, I mean, they're very efficient. They've thrown 24 touchdown passes to just 7 interceptions. In comparison, Nebraska's only thrown 12 touchdown passes, and they've thrown 11 interceptions. So there is a lot of, things that jump out. Bill O'Brien's a good coach, and his teams play well.
I will tell you this. I don't want to act like Babe in the woods here. I did watch the Florida State game, but it was late August or early September. So it was a while ago. I will tell you this.
Different quarterback leading the way, too.
Yeah, Castellanos was their quarterback, and he had a good game against Florida State. Now, he went into the portal during the season.
Early November.
Yeah. Now, I will say this. I watched Boston College thinking, wow, they're serious. That's a serious team. They're good. They're good up front, for instance.
They almost beat Missouri at Missouri.
Yeah, there you go. They'll be tough. It'll be a tough matchup.
Yeah, Donovan Ezeruku leads the nation with 16 and a half sacks. Now, will he play in this game? Is a good question. And
will Ty play in this game? Robinson.
Well, they practiced today.
To Ty practice?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
But yeah, if they don't play, like I said, they'll be suing up Aaron Judge if Ty Robinson doesn't play this game.
Well, I mean, we should be clear. Everything we've heard suggests that Ty's playing, right?
Yeah, he was certainly there at the beginning of their bowl preparations. I don't know if anything has changed since then. We haven't heard anything to suggest that they have, but he was there at least to start. And so odds are he plays.